So basically, yeah, what's going on, guys? And we're finally back with the podcast. It's been absolutely ages since we've done one of these. And, you know, I like my hard men, my fighters. So I thought, who better to get today than, what's your name?
Gary Firby, the Duke of Nook.
All right.
Yeah, the governor.
Yes, the governor. The mad thing is, this is one of the fighters. Most of the people I normally get on, I've never seen fighting live. But I saw this guy fight, when was it? At Spartan House, was it?
Yeah, Spartan.
Yeah, where he actually won the governor title. That was my first ever bare knuckle boxing fight. And it's like, wow.
It was a good fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, is it not scary just doing that? Because with boxing, there's pads or there's sometimes cushion, but bone hitting bone.
Nah, I've had a few beforehand, but like not in the hay bales and that. But you just I don't know. I wasn't nervous enough. You just quite chilled because you just done it for years, haven't we? And
Some of it's like nature, isn't it?
Aye.
It was just mad seeing it. But yeah, I'll put some clips on, and the guy you fought, like, because in your fight you didn't have to let him get up in it.
It was unlimited knockdowns. It was till the first one gives up.
All right, so
there's no rounds.
Yeah, but you chose to let him get up. So what was the reason behind that?
Just being a gentleman.
Being a gentleman. You see that? A gentleman in the ring and out the ring. That was just bad. But hey, you won, and your big respect to the guy you fought. Obviously, I wouldn't be getting in that haystack with you, because hey. But let's be honest. Do you reckon you could take me in a fight? No. See that honesty. He's humble in the hay, humble out the hay. You know, man's been going gym.
I remember doing Spartan. You offered us out then and now.
Anyone can get it. Yeah. Summer 2021. I'm getting that summer body, and you aren't ready for the smoke. But anyways, yeah. Before we get started as well, there's this one question I like to ask people is, can you pronounce my full government name? So it's a bit tricky. If you get it right, you win the £100 prize. If you don't, then no one's done it yet. So
do it, no.
You don't even want to try?
No.
Nah.
I would try, I couldn't do it.
See that? See, this guy does not like doing this. All right, see, I guess we skipped it. Not even one try. You will give it one go.
I can't give it one go, I can't do it.
Nah. See, that's me told. What am I going to do? Knock him out. What am I going to do? There's not.
I can barely pronounce my own name sometimes.
Love that. All right, see, so just tell us a little bit about yourself, like growing up and your whole story.
I was born in Gateshead in 1979. Just like didn't have a bad upbringing. I had a good upbringing, but got bullied through my life until I was about 12, 13, and but I started boxing in 1989 when I was 8 or 9. Through that, and started boxing, and my path went from there, like amateurs and that. I started with Bolton ABC, Gordon French, and Malgate, who was a pro trainer. Now, he was a trainer for Anthony Nelson, the Commonwealth champion. I started with them, and I went from there to Teams Amateur Boxing Club with Harry Morrison. And then I moved from there to Fallon, Victoria, which Glenn McCrory and Davey Gregory had, which I had my first amateur fight there when I was 13. And I just went from there, like.
All right, see, so how many fights would you say you've had?
Altogether, amateur, pro, and unlicensed, I had 131.
How many did you win, lose?
I think I won 95, 96.
95, 96, you know.
And I had 14 banned up with 111.
All right, see, so obviously when I saw you win that governor title, what was that like? That's your last fight, innit?
I had one the next day.
You had one the next day?
I drove up Newcastle the next day and my hand was broken. I had another fight.
So man had a fight, won the governor title, broke his hand, and then went to fight in Newcastle.
I went to fight in Newcastle. It was D-Day and all the money. Like, boxers got paid, but I gave my money away to mental health and cancer. I drove up, had the fight, and gave my wages away and went on the drink.
Oh, jeez, love that.
With a bad hand.
Love that.
I bent my fingers down the stairs, didn't stop my core up like that to come up.
Yeah, that's bad. So why them two charities? Are there something close to you or something happened with the family?
Well, my cousin died of mental health, mental health and thinking, like, obviously committed suicide. And my ma had cancer. My ma beat cancer, but I know people who got cancer and had cancer and died of cancer. So I just chose to do that.
Yeah, nah, big respect to that. Like,
People say you must be mad fighting on the Saturday, bare knuckle. How do you know how long it's going to last? I went, well, whatever happens, I'll still be there on the Sunday because I said I will promise to do it. So it doesn't matter what state I come, your hands will in bits.
Nah, I respect that. It's all about heart, because I feel like a lot of things people are losing nowadays, especially with fighting, is heart, respect, like for even just the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's no respect. A lot of people have got no respect nowadays.
Nowadays it's all about weapons and that, and it's like
weapons, image, bullying people.
It's just sad to think that, like, there's a lot of great. Oh, who's that? One sec. Yo, I'm doing a podcast. Yeah, I'm doing a podcast. What? I'm doing a podcast. I'm in the middle of a shoot. It's like an hour. I'm in the middle of a shoot. I can't talk right now. Well, that's a bit mad. Someone just gave the don't ask for money, but it's what it is. I can have a tenner. Yeah. Anyways, continue. So also, you said you were bullied like when you were younger. So like a lot of people go through bullying. How was that experience for yourself?
It was quite horrible. Like basically, it used to be all the people that bullied us. I didn't have. I got bullied. Well, I think it was like I didn't go to school in designer clothes and all that. But it's just kind of like they weren't expensive clothes, but cheap clothes. Not cheap clothes, but. People, my man and dad, like the type of people you got what you can afford, you know what I mean? No both hard workers. I think some of it had to do with that. Yeah, so
it's about just image, style.
Aye. And then because I was started boxing before I had my first fight, but obviously boxing train. People would try and never go at you then and take the piss. You know how you've seen that. I hate and it was horrible, like.
Yeah. So when you started boxing, was there a lot of support or just?
Went off like people at school and
like when you started, was there a lot of support for you? Like
jealousy. Aye. Until one day I snapped and I gave a kid a good hiding, and I got suspended and I thought I was gonna get killed. Off, like rang off my ma, and she says, "Yeah, I was suspended for a week," and she was like, "Fuck, you know, I'm going out." So because my ma complained a few times, but now I was not done about it.
Yeah, but hey, sometimes you got to stand up for yourself because.
And it can damage a lot of people with. You say, some people nowadays, man, kill themselves and that.
Yeah,
it's horrible. It's not a nice thing to do to somebody. Is it? Pick on them and that. Yeah.
Nah, it's not. I don't get what people get out of bullying. I feel like a lot of people who bully have something going on with themselves, either back home or
and
they take it out on people who are like lower to them. You get what I mean?
Nah, it isn't. It's on somebody they've got a troubled mind, haven't they? Something like that.
Yeah, and it's one of them, like, you feel sorry for them, but for, like, the actions they do, it's just, there's no justifying it, you know what I mean?
No, they shouldn't have did. If it's happening to them, they shouldn't go and date to somebody else.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? That's the way I think of it, like. You know?
So, what's, like, your greatest achievement in, like, your career?
Winning the Royal Show belt. So I turned pro when I was 20 or so, 21. And I had 5 pro fights. I won 2, lost 2, drew 1. But I couldn't exactly train properly for it. There was near sponsorship then. I used to box for Tommy Conroy, who was based in Sunderland. And there was near sponsorship then, so I worked 5 days through the day, and I used to work 6 nights on the doors and try and train in between. So, and I had to make 11 stone 12. I was only 11 stone 12, super middleweight.
So, wait, back then there was no things like sponsorships.
Nah.
It was just, you make your money and put your show.
Obviously with manager and that, but like nowadays you've got people chucking money at your sponsors, or sponsor you, they help your career and that.
Yeah.
But it's not like that when we turned pro.
Jesus. So where did you...
The pro scene was dead then, in the North East. And boxed in Blackpool, Scotland, where else? Blackpool, Scotland, Cup in Sunderland. Well, like I said, I had 5 fights, but it was hard to do it and try and support. And plus, I was getting my arm twisted to go on licence in London, which was more money. Because back then, we used to get £500 to box 6 rounds, and then the manager would take his cut off, so you come up with 375 quid. So you got London.
That's mad.
If you got London, you were fighting for £800 cash and hip in the way. So,
Jesus. So do you reckon that's why there's not much of a scene here because it was better to go.
Better going boxing on license and that, but it wasn't out. Then, so I went to London on a box for Joey Pyle Senior, who was Lenny McLean's manager. Yeah, was a cracking bloke. He was top man. Yeah, I had 3 fights for him, and then the third fight I fought for the Roy Shaw title, presented by Roy Shaw and that. And then I went to jail, got locked up, went to jail for giving a kid a clip, which totally regret. Was all through ex-girlfriends, you know what I mean, twist you. And I come back out now, start fighting again, and won another 8 titles.
Yeah, I've seen like the picture that should be on the screen of this guy with like so many belts. So like that experience, like through when you said you went to jail, what was that like? Like
in jail,
eye opener or?
It was, because the first week was all right, because it was all new. And then it sinks in, fuck, you can't get out.
Yeah.
I was in home house and you see that you're 19, you were like, oh, traffic. You're like,
yeah, how long were you in for?
I was in for a year.
A year?
And I was on tag for 4 months.
Yeah, that's a year of your life as well.
I know. I went from there to Ackleton to Ackleton. Then I went from there to Wheelson, down Weatherby. I was in with George Reynolds, who's owned the football club, Dalton Football Club. I was in jail with him. I was in court with him. And me and George were talking, and he was up for money laundering or something. And I was up for giving somebody a battering. And he went, don't worry, Gary. They've got nout on me. Mainly you'll whack from this. So I seen him in Ackleton and I went, fucking hell, I went 2.5 years and you got 3 years, what happened there? Well, I just didn't get a plan, did it?
Nah, it's bad that because even obviously I've got boys where you think it's going to go one way and it just comes crashing.
We're sitting in the canteen like laughing. You went, wait, they haven't got a patch on, we'll be away. All right, well, Gary Firby, stand up. 2 years, 6 months. Fuck. I knew who was built up was gone, yeah.
Oh, that's bad, that.
The paint's in up your lap.
Man, you'd have planned everything, going for a drink after and just 2 years.
Get your toothbrush and your burger away.
That's bad, that.
But it was an experience. Something I would never do again. Going back again, nowhere. Met some funny people in there, some weird people in there. Charlie Bronson was on the end of my wing for one night. He got transferred from some Wakefield, I think. He was going to Franklin and he stopped there overnight on the end of my wing. But you met some characters.
Yeah. Feel you. So I heard JB and the guy who got me Connie, he mentioned something about you knew Raoul Moat. What was that about?
I used to work with Raoul years ago. Raoul used to work at a pub called Robinson's and it got changed to Liquid. Not the liquid. What they put on the air, what they put on the news when he was on the run, because that was the old icon.
Yeah.
Was Liquid in Newcastle in the big market, and he used to work for us in a cage bar, but when it was Buick's back then as well, in the odd nights now, we used to have a right laugh and that. We used to turn. He was like fucking action man. Back then, there wasn't many blokes his size.
Yeah.
He was phenomenal size. He was like the Hulk.
Huge.
Aye, but he had a little streak in him, didn't he?
Yeah, just swearing.
I remember I got a text message. I was waiting on the door, I got a text message. I'd never seen Raoul for years. And Raoul was shocked. I was like, no, not Raoul, this is Raoul. I was like, no, he just didn't even sink in. I was like, who the fuck's this Raoul? Who is he? And you know, I remember, but they couldn't speak because they were at work. I was like, I have no fucking clue who this is. I bless him, I says to my wife. I says, well, we up in the morning. I says, yeah. I says, what's going on? I says, this bloke, Raoul or such, and I've heard them. Put a telly on, we'll have a telly in the bedroom beside you, or telly there. Fuck, his big dish come on, I nearly fell into bed. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it was somebody
that who'd been texting and you knew.
I knew, but now they just...
Yeah, I think.
No, it just didn't sink in. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, Fuck, now you wouldn't think. I was like, fuck. Because we used to take the pictures and call him Action Man for laughing all that. Yeah. I was like, fuck, he's lost the plot. I hope he doesn't come and get one.
Yeah, it was mad. because the whole story was just because not many things like that happened down in the north. You know what I mean?
No, it was the biggest manhunt in history, wasn't it? Was it 10 days or something he done it?
Yeah, that's mad. What happened at the end? Was it he shot himself?
Shot himself, right? Well, we had a look in the pub to watch it because obviously by the time when we went home, you didn't know what happened, so we had a look in and watched it. And, it was a shame what happened. It's a shame. People say he shot himself. People say the tears us, but at the end of the day, he done wrong. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's being covered. Nobody knows the real reason how he died, is it? But
they're making loads of stories to sell.
Aye.
Alright, so you said you worked at the doors in town. Where was it you worked?
I worked in there. Well, I worked a few. I worked at remember Yell? When went to Destiny. I worked there.
Yeah, Destiny store.
Dived Cage Bar.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that was wild. Kiss. Worked a few pubs. Empress.
Yeah. So what you know the nights in there, was it the same as it is now? Loads of Spice Boys? Or...
Nah, it's just totally not the same as it. I mean, it's quiet and the big motorway is all different now. But when I come back after 6 years of not being allowed to work in town, and I come back and work, I just seen the change. I was like, what the hell? It was dead. It was dead. I mean, before I used to start work at 7, 8 o'clock, finish at 1 o'clock, and you'd be rammed. And clientele is different now, isn't it?
Yeah, like
everybody gives you the human rights and all that.
Yeah. It's a bit more like, I feel like in Newcastle especially, like, it's now turned to a student town, like because the bars, it's all events, you got to pay to get in. Was it the same back then, paying to get in? Or
some of the nightclubs you were, but then it's like every bar now just about, isn't it? Used to be like I say, if somebody done something wrong years ago and they started with you could get in that clip. It's couldn't. Coppers wouldn't say no. Nowadays you do it. The person who wants to fucking thingy, you clip him and he'll phone the police and the police come and nick you. I'll get you done. Fuck, he'll just try to side the brothers.
Yeah, it's changed a lot. It's changed a lot. I can't lie, because I feel like there's a lot more to get away with now, and even just people getting into clubs, like a lot of underage people, fake ID.
Fake IDs are phenomenal in the winter.
Yeah,
I remember years ago it used to be, was it the European driving licence? Well, we didn't have a clue, did we?
Yeah, and then now it's just they've got everything.
Everything, driving licences, you can't tell. You can't tell. I mean,
so it's like, where do we go from here? And they're getting smarter than the whole system, but it's a bit mad. So where weren't you allowed to work in Newcastle? Was that after the sentence? Or?
After my sentence, plus just before but just after my sentence, because I was like a bit of a twat when I was up to the good and all that. And plus my badge got took off, and I couldn't really work in the doors in the town. I couldn't really not about town and that, so I had to stay out for about 6 years. Before I went back, got alleged I've done this and that, and and they just shit sticks. They just at the time.
So would you say because for me it looks like you've changed. Like now it's obviously the guy you told me before, and like the guy I've seen obviously in the rain, like the respect you had for the guy to let him get up. Like you've changed, didn't it?
I just like a quiet life now, man.
Quiet life.
I like to just chill out, quiet life and that. When I hit 30, I was like, there's a lot of things I want to do. And that's what I do. Put myself first, what I want to do, you know what I mean? And calm down, chill out now.
You have a family?
I've got kids and that. So I've got 4 kids. 3 to my ex and 1 to me with our wife, my ex-wife. But so I keep in contact with my kids and that, and me and my ex-wife get on good and that. And that's what it is. It's all that they to be nice in it.
Yeah, to be fair, that's crazy, because a lot of stories I hear when there's an ex-wife or when partners split and have children, there's a lot of using the kids as weapons.
Oh, yeah, they should never do that. They should never do that. My youngest daughter's mother, she's like, not like that. She's like, she would never ever do that, you know. Spot on. It's good they can work. It's good how we can work like that, and I think a lot of people should do that, because there's women out there that do that, and it's horrible, man. You're not spiting. You're hurting the father, but you're spiting the kid more, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like it's gone too far. Like, yeah, I understand people can have problems. Like, if we've got a problem, that's cool, but should never. Because I know a lot of people who have experienced it, where it's like, oh, you're not allowed to see your kid this week, and it's like, well, what do you gain from that? You know what I mean?
Well, I've got 3 kids to my ex, and she stopped us from seeing them for 5 years, just pure jealousy. It was like pure shocking.
Yeah, what was that like, not being able to see your kids?
Hard at first, and then you just got used to it. But then when you start getting it, when you got to see it again, it was hard to build a relationship, that bond again.
Because you're missing that whole 5 years.
Because we're like strangers, Yeah, it's.
So how does it work? Can she just? Because I don't really know that. Because I always see it happening, but I don't know. Do you have to go to court or?
I didn't know where she was. She'd done off.
Oh, wow. I said just skedaddle like that.
Crazy, man, crazy, but madman.
Yeah, so would you ever get back into the ring or?
Well, I've said I've packed it and I've retired, but I've been off on a world title fight. Yeah, but there's nothing higher than the governor fight. Yeah, it's like it's the governor, and it's got a lot of history. It's a class. It's what I wanted for years, and I got robbed of it years ago, fighting for it years ago. They're going to hear it, but I've already mentioned it a few times when I boxed a lad in London. And after the first round, I got told I couldn't win. I went back, so I just come back with the second round, and it's on YouTube. Firby v. Svenny, and you've seen it. You just took him on the arms and went down. And I never really got a shot after that. And that gadget from Carlisle, you know who we mean, Mr. He won his fake one. I offered him out, and that never happened. So, and then we're in boxing rings, and then I had to fight in Bernal. So it's like last chance. I was 40-year-old at the time. Yeah. And I said, have a go and taste. Yeah. I got down to 13 stone 12. I'm about 15-10. Lost loads of weight and got fit.
Yeah, at least you got like eventually. Because I feel like even now within the boxing industry, there's a lot of judges that are rigging a lot of stuff.
Nah, it's like you got kept in the cold a bit, you know. Yeah. I mean, I've boxed some great people and good friends and that, like James Gypsy Boy McCrory and that. I mean, like he's a good lad. He was used a bit as well. I feel he was used a bit, and even he's a lovely kid and we used to talk and that. There's like stuff like that, and there's a lot of corruption in all the sports, though.
Yeah, I feel like it's now the money and the whole, like, let's say like Joshua, innit? He should have fought Tyson Fury ages ago. Yeah. But they want to get as much money as they can until the big fight.
Milk the cow, innit? Milk the public.
And it's one of them, because a lot of people kick off at the actual fighters, and I feel like with everything, the fighters are suffering the most, because obviously they're the image. Yeah. Like, even if a bad decision happens, it's down to the refs. The fighters are just there.
Do you not think that Ruiz, when he fought Ruiz for the second time, it was a bit rigged?
How so?
Because he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. He's going to fight Joshua again in Saudi Arabia. You come in fucking 3 stone hour weight or something, didn't you? Just big fight train. But he got a massive paid here, didn't he?
Yeah. Even that one, like, Joshua should have won. It was just another fight just to...
but Ruiz never fought the way he did the first fight, did he? Didn't have the hunger.
Even in the second one, it's... Like, this is the thing, you don't know what's real now and what's not.
I know.
Real fighters, like, you can even see, like, back in the day when you watch old videos, there's lots of fights where fighters could take a lot. Like, you hit them, they'd be fighting. But nowadays
it's
a couple of clips.
When you reckon Fury, I think Fury will knock Joshua out, man.
For me, with heavyweights, like, obviously, when I use examples like Deontay Wilder and even Losey, even though obviously he lost yesterday, but I feel like with fighters like them, when that one punch can change everything in them heavyweights, I feel like it can go anyway. Because obviously Tyson Fury, masterclass, undefeated. Obviously that decision with Wilder, that was clear catch.
Wilder was a bully that got bullied.
Yeah, Wilder couldn't box, did it? Everyone would be... I think people were too cautious with him. Yeah. But after the first fight, Fury knew this guy can't box.
He got tanned, didn't he?
Yeah.
In the second fight, he just come and bullied him, didn't he? And beat him up.
Literally, and it was mad to see because he had been dominating. Like, well, not dominating, but everyone his knockout percentage is like what?
It was massive. He only went the distance once or something, didn't he? With the 41 fights.
95, 96% knockout rate a night.
I think, what was it? He had 42 fights, 40 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss.
Yeah.
And I think it was 39 by a knockout or something.
Yeah, and it's like, compared to the grades, like, that record is mad, but it comes down to, like, the real boxing. Like, Tyson's a different kettle of fish, and, like, so are you Team Tyson when
I'm Team Tyson when they fight.
Alright, so what are your thoughts on Joshua in general, then?
Joshua, I like Joshua. I did like him, but I started going off him. I'll tell you what, one of the fights I went off him with is when he fought Carlos Takam, the French guy, big coloured French guy. And Joshua was well behind on points. And Takam had a little cut on his eye, and it was 11th round or something, and they stopped the fight. The referee stopped the fight, and the cut wasn't enough for it. Nah, you just,
Yeah, it's like, it comes to that rigging and...
a couple of his fights were a bit like that. I was thought, he was struggling that, but...
Because he's the money maker, like, biggest face in boxing at the moment,
right? Well, Tyson Fury come back after 3 years, just took over, hasn't he?
Yeah, I feel like...
He's the people's champ as well. He's like Muhammad Ali, and he's the people's champ as well.
Yeah, I feel like with Joshua, obviously, he's the pretty boy, but Tyson's more of just a lad, you can relate more with him, and I feel like even with the whole just being a gypsy, like gypsies have had it hard, and he's sort of like fought to say like we're not just rough, like we're really talented.
And he's a humble guy.
Yeah, humble.
He's mental health problems, and stuff like that. We're mad. But so crazy. I've got a book coming out with Jamie Boyle. I think it's November the 12th. Comes out on Kindle. $4.95 in audio. It comes out on December the 10th on paperback, called The Duke of Nook.
Duke of Nook.
Basically, it's like all me, like from being born to now. And like about the Sears film, being in the Sears film and stuff. So get that, The Duke of Nook.
Nice. So what you doing in the Sears film?
I'm playing Viv Graham.
Viv Graham,
yeah. I heard the film was getting made. I heard the film was getting made because I know Steven Sears and Michael and that. And I said for a laugh, get me a part in the film. It's just an extra or something. And I had a little fighting part, and where there was going to be a scene where they're in London, and there was an unlicensed boxing show, and I would do boxing and the thing. And that would do me. It's just one of them. It's just nice seeing I've been in that film. A couple of weeks later, I got a phone call. Gary, I've got a part for you. There's a load of people who auditioned for it. And I went, what? He went, you're playing Viv Graham, one of the main roles. I was like, fucking hell. I went, I've never acted in my life. He went, you're buried.
It's mad, that.
And I went, I said, who's playing Lee Duffy? He went, Paul Venice. Paul Venice from Middlesbrough, South Bank. Oh God, I went and had a fight with him like 12, 13 years ago.
Right.
And they were like, no, wait, what happened? I went, well, I got beat. So I took the fight at short notice. I said, but, what is he could fucking hit like?
Yeah, he's a big fella. Big lad.
In Middlesbrough, I fought him in Middlesbrough Town Hall. And they were like, no way. And we'll come down. Me, Jamie Boyle, Stevie Rafe, Brian Cotwell, and Stephen Sears. And obviously we'll come down and we'll meet up, and Paul turned up. He went, hey guy, what you doing now? And I'm playing Viv Graham. He went, I'm playing Lee Duffy. He went, how mad's that? We're having a fight.
Well, that from fighting and...
They've never seen each other for years. Because like Paul went through a bad spell for a few years. Obviously I did that. And was mad just talking about it and that. And I mean, he looks more like Lee Duffy, doesn't he? He looks a real Lee Duffy.
Just like him. I've seen the cover when he's on the card.
It's good, isn't it? Yes. And he's a lovely bloke, Paul. He's doing the book as well, isn't he? The South Bank story. And Paul was like that. And he went, say him, he went, this man, made me realise you can't just knock everybody out. No.
Oh, was it not a knockout?
No. I went, what do you mean? He went out to 31 fights, he went to the only man to go the distance.
Wow.
Because I knocked everybody out.
Yeah, because he's a big lad, a hard hitter, and it's like, hey, give some credit to yourself then. 31.
That time I had like 20 fights in 8 months. I was just travelling all over. Plus I needed some money, extra money. And so when I fought Paul, I went, here's in the first round, man, I swear to God. Felt like a cold steel of a knife going through my head. I thought I was going to be in my head, I was like, shit. Now remember Michael Watson and Chris Eubank?
Yeah.
I thought, I'm going to get down and end up like Michael Watson, yeah. The pains in my head, aye.
First round as well.
First round. I didn't get down.
Yeah. Well, it was just that
oh.
you felt it.
Mm-hmm. Then later on, I was wearing doing. I was tired because I'd done a long shift at work and then come straight up and then boxing. And if I hadn't, even Paul says when I hadn't got you the twice for body shots, dropped you twice for body shots, he says you would have won the fight. Like, it must have been ahead.
Yeah.
He says it was he says I dropped you. He says and he says and I thought again I've got him. He says and he just looked at us like I went. I stood up and he went and said, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, that's what I was saying about boxing. That hot to get up, like, must have been an experience. So imagine that going from fighting each other, Middlesbrough Town Hall, to acting together. You know,
I know, right? And we're good friends and that as well. Right? Spot on.
Yeah, no, it's nice how you can like fight each other in the ring, but outside the ring, like. To be great friends, isn't it? Because it's not like nowadays with all the trash talk, everyone wants to hate each other.
They're not. And some people give you after fights for months, give you a shite and all that. You know, just it's happened.
You had the fight. Results. You know what I mean?
Grow up back away. You know, just wanted you there to do your job, innit? You know.
Yeah, respect for that. So, are you gonna take acting further after this, or is this just the one-off?
Well, it's you know. I mean, some people get the opportunity to kind of take it and kind of like, want to be like this. And I just take everything in my stride, like, see what happens. I mean, it's not gonna be a cheap, nasty film. It's actually gonna be like funded, and we get the funding, and it's going to win the pictures. So it's not gonna. It's gonna be all over. It's not going to be so. It's something like lock stock in it. That's what it's going to be like. It's going to be massive, I reckon, the film. And to get it on to play Dave Graham, who is from my end. I was only a band when he got shot on New Year's Eve, 1993. When he died, there was a Newcastle gated. I remember just looking over to Newcastle and even in gated and that. And it was just an eerie silence. It was weird. So, Viv Graham's being shot, like killed. Everybody was like, because you would never think something like that would happen to him. So it's good to be playing the North East legend. Yeah. Who's going to be in folklore for forever. Forever,
yeah. It's mad, like.
It's like Lee Duffy is always going to be brought up in books.
You don't get much like hard men and men like that nowadays, innit?
Nah, it
doesn't happen.
The one-offs, man, Paul Sykes, Lee Duffy, and Viv Graham, they're like the one-offs.
Legends, and Jamie's done books for all of them, innit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He's doing well for himself, book right, and then now getting a film. So is he directing the film or?
Jamie's not directing the film. The guy that's directing the film is a guy called Gary Fraser from Edinburgh. Lives in Edinburgh. He was an assistant director of Trainspotting 2 with Danny Boyle. He's 2-time BAFTA award winner. He's got a thing on Netflix. You look on a grey area. It's like short films. Have a look at them. They're good.
Grey area.
Grey area. It's called.
Right, see.
And everybody he uses is just people off the streets. So you can see it's like how you change. How he's like took people off the streets and made them into actors. And he even acts his sellings.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Like Ken Loach, this film I was in, they don't like to get superstars because it's not as authentic. You know what I mean? Like
real people.
You know, like if you see, let's say we had Zac Efron playing Lee Duffy, you just be like, oh, it's Zac Efron. It wouldn't hit as hard.
Yeah.
Not really. He hasn't grew up in the area. He hasn't really, you know what I mean? I'm not saying he wouldn't do it well, but it's just not as, like you said, real people.
Real
you know what
people.
I mean?
It's like me and Paul and Tony Sears and that. Because Tony Sears, obviously, he's in the film. He plays old John Sears, like Stephen Michael and John's dad. And we had to do, what was it called, a workshop. And it was quite hard. Me and Paul were nervous for it. And Tony's just like, well, he comes up with mint. You would think he acts all the time. Now they give him a scenario, he would just come up with it. Pick it up really good, Tony. But me and Paul were nervous as out.
Yeah, you've never done acting before.
I was getting quick. Like, I I couldn't do the expression. I was just looking like that. Like, you think I was getting like interrogated off the police? Paul was the same. He was nervous as hell. But we had to go and do these like some scenarios on a film, like what would be happening in the film, and you just picked it up and you just you went over it like 3 times and got it. And Gary Fraser when you've got actors, you've got real people like you and Paul. He went, people like you and Paul, actors kind of couldn't do what you was doing now with your looks and thing. So that's why we've been picked, really. Like, so it's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be an adventure.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some extra jobs on that, innit? Because obviously I do actor. I've talked to Steve Sears and Steve Rafe. They said they'll get me some extra roles. So just to be a part of it, they just say you're a part of that film. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's good. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Excellent.
Big up Gary, the Governor, Firby. Been a pleasure watching you fight. Been a pleasure having you here. So guys, he's going to be releasing the book. What's the book called again?
The book's called The Duke of Windy Nook, Gary Firby, and it's out on November the 12th, Kindle and audio. It's $4.95, and it'll be out on December the 10th in Waterstones, paperback, Amazon, the whole lot, all over the shop, at $12.95.
Right, so and it's written by Jamie Boyle?
Written by Jamie Boyle, who's top author.
Top author from Teesside. Big up Jamie Boyle for getting this opportunity happening. And guys, hope you enjoyed the podcast. Comment down below what your thoughts about Gary or his stories, and thanks for having us.
Thank you.